Hello and welcome to another edition of the Bite-Sized Discussions brought to you by the Sussex Collaborative. I'm Joe Lynch. Today we're going to be discussing business planning and how important it is to have a very robust business plan in your organisation. I'm delighted to be joined by Nicky McFarlane. Nicky is a strategic business development and marketing specialist supporting many businesses. She has a long career as a specialist managing director and consultant in a range of organisations, including travel companies and technology startups. Nicky is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Marketing. She's the owner of Nicky Mac Consulting, and I'm delighted to say she's also a fellow collaborator with the Sussex Collaborative. Welcome, Nicky.
Hi, Joe. Thanks for that great introduction.
I'm delighted to have you here today. Thank you. So, business planning, let's go right back to basics. What do you mean when you talk about a business plan?
It's a roadmap, really. I think it's lots of entrepreneurs and business owners have got lots of ideas in their heads, and it's sort of bringing all of that into one collective plan for the business to move it forward. So it's like having a map, really.
And why is it so important?
I think, for me, I suppose it's a bit like setting up your sat nav when you're setting off on a journey. You need to know where you're going to and where you want to get to. You want to think about the route that you want to take to get there and how long it's going to take you to do that. And also what to take along on the journey with you and who you want to take with you. So, when you hit traffic, you can quickly change course. And, as a business, it's no different to that. It's about thinking of what your purpose is, what are you in business for, thinking about what your vision, where do you want to get the business and where do you want to take it to? And what are your goals? Are you looking to be more profitable? Do you want to be more efficient? Are you thinking about growing your market share, for example, or being much more customer focused and service led? So thinking about all of those pieces, it's sort of bringing that together into an action plan to achieve it. And what that means is that everybody who's going to join you on that journey is going to be clear about the where, what, how, and why.
I see. That's an interesting point, because I was about to ask, if a business owner, they probably know all of that anyway, why do they need to have a plan?
Well, I think, it's business owners tend to have lots of ideas. And I think by bringing it into a plan, it means that it's actually giving them something that's documented that they can kind of refer back to, and also share it with their teams, because it's easy for people to get lost along the way if they don't know where they're going.
Mm-hmm. Is it fair to say that very often a business plan is something that's done perhaps once every 3 years when you have your 3-year strategy, or when you're about to apply for funding? How regularly should you revisit and update your business plan?
Yeah, do you know what? I think probably everybody at the moment feels like they've just been planning constantly over the last 12 months. I think that's all we've been doing, but that's tended to be very reactive. So I think it is an ongoing process, but I think to have a strategic plan, really it's taking that time out. And I think it's important to work on the business as well as in the business. And I think by doing that, I would recommend creating your plan on an annual basis, but then revisiting it on a quarterly basis, because that's going to give you the opportunity to review what the business activity is, check back on some of those assumptions that you've probably made as part of your plan around resourcing and timescales, and looking and spotting trends that have changed, because change is constant. So being able to revisit your plan on a regular basis means that it gives you time to adapt and respond to that change.
Yeah, it's certainly seems to be the case at the moment that plans are made. Well, I remember making plans a year ago, and life is different, and I think that change will continue to come. Can you give any advice to business leaders about how they make their business plan relevant to everybody in the organisation?
I think it's about actually sort of sitting back and engaging with them, really. I think, you need to, it can't be a one plan just for the senior management team. It's got to be a plan that you engage everybody in. And, think about what is that roadmap? What's that journey you're going on, and what are the stages of it? And what are the elements that need to be achieved? So I think by doing that and bringing people together into the planning process means that, you're sharing in it. And I think by sharing in it, it's more likely that you're going to be able to deliver as a team. So, I think it's important not just to have people in suits sitting in an office creating it really.
So you made a very convincing argument for the importance of a plan and having it written down and shared. For those people that have now convinced and have seen the light, how do you start? Because it's quite a daunting thought to create a business plan if you've never done one before.
Yeah, it is. I think strategy, all of these words, and it's, as someone that's not done one before, it can be a bit daunting. But I think really, breaking it down, there's three core things I think are the starting points. One is look inside. So what's going on within your business, and having kind of an internal plan around what's happening. I think it's thinking about what your team are telling you to start, stop, or continue. What's your vision for the business, and what are your performance indicators? And then, if you're starting out, the other piece you want to really look at is what are your competitors doing. So who are they? What are they doing differently to you? And what's the value they're giving your customers, and maybe stealing customers away from you that you're not aware of. So having a bit of competitor review, because you've got to think about what value you're adding or they're adding to the customer. And then thirdly, I think it's about thinking about those customers and what are you delivering for them? What problem are you solving for them? And think about how their needs might change over time. And how can you adapt to that? And potentially, if you're in business already, there's going to be new customers out there who might be interested in your products now because things have changed so much. So being aware of them. So start inside and then go outside a little bit and have a good review.
Thank you, Nicky. That's really good advice. And it's interesting to use the stop, start and continue methodology, because that does force you to confront those decisions that, oh, hang on, something's changed. We might need to change our plan. Is there anything wrong with changing a plan?
No, not at all. I think, just because you've written a document down on a bit of paper and you've got your business plan doesn't mean it's set in stone. I think actually being able to revisit it and keep changing it makes it stronger, and it's going to mean the opportunities for your business are much stronger as well. I think if it's too rigid, then you'll end up going down a dead end. So being able to change it, absolutely need to do that.
And tell us, Nicky, how do you support your clients and the businesses you work with the business planning?
Really, I start off by talking to them about what their ambitions are for the business, understanding about what the business is doing, where they are at the moment, where their challenges are, where their opportunities that they see are, and just do a bit of that internal review piece with them, really sit down and talk through that, talk to people around the business, again, not just relying on what's coming out of the senior management team, get under the hood a little bit to understand what's going on, and then move into looking at the wider environment and where they want to get to, look at their commercials, their financials. So it's kind of like the health check.
And do you find that external perspective brings perhaps a bit of challenge or a bit of support or a sounding board? How do your customers find that?
I think sometimes it's when you're in a business, you can get very kind of blinkered into kind of where you think you want to be going. So I think having that external support just helps open up different thinking. It means that, I can go in and challenge embedded norms. I can kind of play the neutral card or get around some of the politics or agendas that might be in there because of long-standing relationships, and go in with new experiences and ideas that can sort of draw out and unleash things that maybe they haven't thought about. So I think that tends to be the benefit that generally people see, is that it's just that second independent pair of eyes that gives them a bit of clarity.
Sounds brilliant, Nicky. It sounds like the service that every business leader should be taking advantage of. If they want some help from you, how do they get in touch?
They can look at my website. So all my contact details are on nickymacconsulting.co.uk, on LinkedIn, and the Sussex Collaborative website.
Nicky, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure chatting to you. I hope to see you again soon.
Thanks, Joe. Lovely to see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.